purpose in this life to serve. Once they do realize this fact and their role in this life, now they can understand whatever is going to hit them in this life, whatever challenges that they are going to be experience, whatever difficulties that they are going to experience, whatever good things that they are going to be eager for and spread within people's life. And through this scope, they can understand their role in this life and why have they been given all these assignments and why are they different from any other creatures in this life.
Now, Sheikh, for human beings, they have these existential questions like, where did I come from? What is my purpose? Where am I heading? Why am I here in the first place? So how does Islam address these questions? And they will obviously lead to the purpose of life.
Islam has addressed this question through different approaches. One of the approaches that Islam has actually tackled right from the beginning is through the faculties that Allah the Almighty has provided human beings with. They have intellect, so they can use their minds, their intellect, in understanding the purposes of everything around them. There isn't any single action that they are doing without any purpose. Nothing that they are utilizing doesn't have any purpose. Now, this chair that you are sitting in, we are sitting in these chairs, it does have a purpose. The manufacturer, right from the beginning, has designed it and hammered it to serve a purpose. The devices that we are using are made to serve a certain purpose. Everything around us that we are utilizing does have a purpose. So it cannot be that this universe, this human being, when he was, as we already said, placed to be a custodian in this life, and he has given these faculties, and everything around him is utilized to serve him, to fulfill this purpose, and then we will conclude that a human being has no purpose in their life.
Yes.
It cannot be. They are contracting themselves. That's why people who have this existential approach, they are contradicting themselves, because
which leads to a crisis.
now their own argument is against their claim, because they are raising this argument to prove they have a purpose of raising this argument. So their argument is to prove that human beings do not have and they do not need any purpose. There is no meaning of life, while all the means that they are using, all the intellect that they are using, whatever they are compiling or authoring, is to convince others. So they do have a purpose in setting this argument forth. Now they are contradicting itself. It's like, some of them, and we may move to what is known as nihilism.
Yes.
People of those who think that there is no purpose of whatsoever nature for a human being. And accordingly, they claim that even self-determination, even choices, we do not have the choice. Yet they write books in which they are trying to convince you of their point of view. Now, if I do not have self-determination, why are you trying to convince me? Because I'm already set within my own genes to have no choice.
But this is a crisis, Sheikh. This crisis, even young people, normal people who are not so intellectual, fall into this crisis because of these ideas running in their mind.
So it is a crisis because they are contradicting the mere nature of a human being and the basic tenets of the existence of a human being. Why is he dignified? Why is he pursuing knowledge and science? Because they know, human beings, that through advancing knowledge and science, they will achieve more prosperity, they will make life more easy, They will overcome the challenges. Now this is the meaning of trusteeship that Allah the Almighty has blessed us on. It is to challenge, to overcome the challenges, to face and encounter the difficulties, to use our faculties in more advancements, to provide more prosperity, and to fulfill our needs. Now, if this is true for the intellectual faculties, then definitely it is true for improving our souls and our spirits through, as I said, the morals and the spirituality that we are also seeking in order to advance and purify our souls. And that's why you find in the Holy Quran that Allah the Almighty, when describing the message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he has described the messages of all prophets and messengers sent to him for nations before this nation, he says that they are teaching people, guiding them, purifying their souls. The purity required here is to grow and advance even in spiritual sense. One should advance. And that's why we can understand how Allah the Almighty has made this life, according to the Islamic perspective, a test. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. Let's assume that we are just programmed in this life. We do not have any determination, we do not have any choice, and because of that we do not feel any suffer. How can we advance? No way. We are just programmed.
We are comfortable.
We are programmed. We do not even feel the
Suffering,
joy,
pain.
absolutely, of overcoming suffer and pain, of removing pain from others, from our hearts, being patient, being kind, being merciful, showing sympathy to others, trying to find solutions, advancing our knowledge and science, because we are already programmed in a certain way, as it is with any device with any intellectual device that we are using, and we have already programmed. It doesn't feel. It is just what you are feeding it with. But human beings are different. They are programming devices. They are utilizing whatever Allah the Almighty has enabled us to utilize in this universe, and He has utilized everything on this earth and in heavens. Everything in this universe is meant to serve human beings because they are dignified. And that's why the point that you have raised,
yes,
for those people who are ignoring these facts, they are going to contradict themselves, their own nature. They are going to live in a very unharmonious relationship with others. They will not be able to bring things into context. The physical, the material world, the spiritual world, the intellectual world, and our relationship with others. So the issue of realizing the purpose of life is very important, is the essence through which we can judge the world around us, place ourselves in a certain situation, and realize the fact that we are worshipping Allah through all the actions and deeds that we are doing, not only through the rituals that Allah has commanded us to perform as obligatory actions, but through all what we are doing and experience, to the extent that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that even having a marital intercourse with one's wife, with his own wife, is rewarded for this action.
It's an act of worship.
It's an act of worship. Feeding his own family, seeking provision for his own family. All these are acts of worship. So the concept here, now let's tackle some issues. Seeking knowledge, learning as an example.
Yes.
This is one of the highest acts of worship praised in the Holy Quran and in the prophetic traditions. Because seeking knowledge is a way by which we open our hearts and our vision to all the wisdom behind this creation. or the purposes behind what is around us, and how to be better persons, how to benefit ourselves and others in this life, how to come closer to Allah the Almighty, who has enabled us with these faculties to discover the secrets of life. And that's why seeking knowledge, learning, has been placed high in Islamic perspective. So for those who are also learning, studying, without knowing,
like the young people, Sheikh,
young
they might be struggling in finding their careers or choosing their studies. So how can Islam guide them in finding the purpose in what they do?
Already the purpose is set.
Yeah.
How can they understand this purpose and make use of it? It starts here in the hearts. They have to have the intention required. And the basic intention here is to remove ignorance. Now, why are we learning? Why are we studying? Because we want to fight ignorance.
Yes.
Ignorance is the first enemy of a human being. So this is the basic, this is the minimum level that we should always associate. So first of all, to remove ignorance. Second, to know more. And if we know more, then we can provide solutions. We can enrich our life. We can achieve better prosperity. Even for some worldly aims that one might think that this has nothing to do with acts of worship, they are wrong, like being able to find a good career and to provide provision for myself and my family. This by itself is a sound aim, a sound purpose that one is rewarded for. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ once in a gathering with his companion, and a man passed by, and he looks very muscular, very fit, and the companion said, some of them said, now if this person was in the struggle for the path of Allah the Almighty, and they talked about this, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ explained to them that if this person has gone out to seek maintenance and provision for his family, then he is indeed in the path of Allah the Almighty. So whatever we consider to be of worldly acts, then we find that in Islam it has been considered as an act of worship, by which we are rewarded once we have